Hi there, everybody. This is Molly McCord. Today is May 29th, 2019. Thank you for joining me as we take a look at the astrological energies of the next week as we close out May and enter June. Thank you for joining me, and we will cover quite a bit today in terms of the energies as well as some interesting visuals I've been receiving that I meant to share with you about how to move through the next few months, let's say, because we have some big energies happening in June and July that are shaking up the status quo. We've been moving through that. It's not new, but things are happening in such a way that more needs to be dismantled, undone. It needs to come apart, be revealed, be exposed. And there's certain things we can do to support the energy as we continue to move forward and continue to hold the best and highest intentions for ourselves as well as for the collective. So I'll get into that in just a moment. So thank you for joining me. We're going to take a look here, first of all, at some energies with Mercury and Venus. Now, both planets are moving fast right now. Mercury is only in Gemini for 2 weeks. It entered on May 21st. It will leave Gemini June 5th. That's next Wednesday. So this is a very fast-moving energy that gets us thinking in a new way. We have the strength of Gemini in our favor right now. And the way that I'm feeling this energy is that with Mercury in Gemini and the Sun in Gemini, we're meant to be aware of how we can improve communications. Improve communications with ourselves, what needs to be reworked, thought of in a different way, how can you reword something or speak differently to yourself, and also how to improve communications with everyone you interact with. And that can be through text, email, phone, in person, all the ways that we connect, communicate, social media. And we're meant to be very aware of how to do communication better. Because I think it's safe to say that communication as a whole, I would say, has declined in its quality in the past, say, 10 years. Because of technology. Now, there's many great things that we can do with technology, with the internet, with social media. But you look at how there's easier ways to ignore, to ghost, to cop out. You are not forced to have conversations in person or even on the phone. There's certain things that we can sidestep in our communications. This strong Gemini energy is asking us to get clear on how we want to communicate with each other, what we need to say, where we need a real, true connection, where there is understanding, where there is speaking and listening, where it's not one-sided, where it isn't simply thinking that, it's like I get this image of the important ways we need to connect with each other have been thrown to the wayside. The importance of hearing someone's voice, the importance of being in person with somebody and having a conversation, the importance of addressing important things over the phone and in a conversation. For example, when I was a consultant for a Fortune 500 company, there were certain miscommunications that would happen through email. And when that would come up, we would know, okay, this is actually something to discuss in a phone call, not on email. Email is one of the worst forms of communication. You don't have tone. You don't have the energy of someone's voice and their emotion. You have many misunderstandings. So we would then pick up the phone and say, okay, let me make something clear if it was misunderstood, or you know what, I think I didn't explain that very well in my email, or, you know what, I wanted to follow up with you and make sure it was clear. Did you have any questions? Was there a misunderstanding? We need to have good communications with each other. And with technology, maybe we haven't always stayed committed to that. So this Gemini energy is saying, how are you, using your words, to be intentional, effective, and to really help develop relationships in a healthy way. So that's one way to stay aware of Gemini energy, is that yes, it's a lot of talking and it can be very busy, 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 but when that Gemini energy is consciously used, we are more mindful of what we say, how it affects somebody, the power of our words, the power of our thoughts, and where we ultimately have the choice and choices in those areas of our life. So one thing to be very aware of, especially as we build up to this Gemini New Moon. There's a Gemini New Moon on June 3rd at 12 degrees. Look in your chart at where 12 degrees of Gemini is, and this is where you are receiving this download of energy, an infusion of energy for a new beginning, a new start. Every new moon is a dark time in the sky. It's a time of getting clear in your intentions, in what you want to manifest next as we move forward to the full moon in Sagittarius. So the Gemini New Moon can be very busy, very talkative, a lot going on. I just uploaded a video for you on YouTube about this new moon. The title is that the possibilities are endless, so be sure to breathe. Gemini is an air sign. Make sure to breathe deeply into your lungs and to be aware of what you're choosing, because Gemini is about choices, and you could have 2 choices. You could have 4 choices. With lots of Gemini energy, you can have many choices. Well, when you understand what you value, which is what the Taurus energy is about, and of course Taurus energy precedes Gemini. So in Taurus, we're getting clear on this is what matters to me right now. This is what has value and meaning. And then that helps with your Gemini mental process and choosing what to say, where to go, what you want to do with yourself on a daily basis. See, all of astrology is a progression, and every sign is very different from the sign before it and the sign after it. So in Gemini, our minds become awake and alert and blah, 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 and it can be too much. It can be overstimulating. Too much talk, not enough listening, not enough understanding. So stay very mindful of your own words and where you direct your mental energy. And all of this grows in importance with the June 3rd new moon, where you make a choice, or at least you make an intention of how this area of your life is going to grow over the next 2 to 4 weeks. Now, Venus is in Taurus at 17 degrees as I do this show live. And she loves being in Venus. It's one of her home signs. Her other home environment is Libra. Venus in Taurus can really relax and enjoy the good things in life. She likes to spend money. She likes to have beautiful things. She likes to look beautiful. She likes to take care of herself. She looks for how to enjoy a good meal, enjoy some nice candles, hair care products. What she owns is very important to her. And it's very solidifying because all of this goes into self-worth, and it goes into how she loves herself and her ability to receive. This is a Venus who's good with receiving because she knows she's worth it. She knows she is worthy of abundance. Venus is going to make trines to both Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Both of these planets are currently retrograde, which means the energy is inside of us being reworked, reconfigured, reviewed. Venus comes in and provides an understanding of how we are investing in ourselves for the long term. This is a great energy of building self-confidence. Venus and Taurus trining this Saturn gives new stability to self-worth, to saying, yes, I can feel good about myself for this. Yes, I know I'm worth it. Yes, I know I'm loved. Yes, I love myself. This is great for understanding who you are, and I'm feeling it at that sacral chakra, the second chakra, orange chakra level, and feeling it in a way that you're strong, clear, certain, secure in yourself. And this is being fortified over this next week as Venus trines Saturn at 19 degrees of Capricorn and then trines Pluto at 22 degrees of Capricorn. There's a surge of power. There's a surge of support for the feminine energies as well, and that's what Venus represents. And you could be given an opportunity to receive. You could be given an opportunity to invest in yourself or to make a powerful financial decision. You could be given an opportunity to say, yes, I'm worth it, and I know I can do this, and I know the abundance will show up, the support will show up, the opportunities will show up. Really powerful energy here, friends, and it's active, I'm going to say May 30th to June 3rd, where the Venus and Taurus feminine receiving energy is strengthened. And it's strengthened within you, it's strengthened in your sacral chakra, and it's strengthened in a way, it's through the earth signs, which are about our physical experiences, the body, what we buy, what we own, career, expertise, job. I feel like there's a surge of power rising that is cemented in to that sacral chakra. So work with this intentionally and look at where you are being pushed to grow and develop your confidence in yourself, your self-acceptance, your self-love, your self-worth, because something in the physical world could show up as a reward even. Saturn is for the long term, is a commitment, is something that's meant to last over time. And then the Pluto energy is the power, is a new sense of power, a new sense of what is rising up in you that you can't deny, that you have to own. And this is fabulous for the Venus energy, especially in her home sign of Taurus. So let's celebrate these energies while we can. Let's enjoy them while we can. And, of course, stay conscious and aware of them because it's great for money, finances, investments, possessions, and what you love, what you value, what you own, and anything in your chart where the Venus energy is moving through. So we also have some interesting energies coming in for June. And these are the visuals I've been getting that I want to share with you because this energy is quite contentious and it's uncomfortable. In fact, even this week, the energies have been turbulent, a little unstable, rickety, if you will. And it's been interesting because it doesn't feel like there's enough grounding at times. And it shows up as chaos, as uncertainty. It also can transpire as fear. And this energy is part of the overall shifts that we're moving through in a grander cycle. A grander cycle of change is underway. Astrologically, we know this through the energies of Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn meeting up in 2020, January 2020, and then there are many other transiting energies throughout 2020 that signal deep permanent change. These planets are working specifically with the United States of America's natal chart. So there's a lot happening right now that is taking us into a whole new ball game, a whole new level of play, if you will. And this has been unfolding, especially throughout this year, but it's been hidden. A lot has been happening behind the scenes that we haven't seen. There's a lot that comes up to create fear, to create polarity, to keep us away from our power, to keep us away from our awakening journey. And don't be mistaken, there are energies that do not want people to awaken. And this is something just to understand objectively, because there are energies that thrive at keeping us fighting, at keeping us in polarity, at keeping us at odds with each other. And yet, as humanity awakens, we gain more power. And we've reached these tipping points of nonsense, like where we see the nonsense, or we see what the truth is, or we see what's happening below the surface, or we see the game that's unfolding. There's more consciousness on the planet now. There's more levels of awakening than ever before. And one thing to keep in mind is that at a soul level, each of us actually has more power and more consciousness in this lifetime than we've ever had in any other lifetime. That's a big deal because of how the energies have changed and shifted. So we are each further along in our soul's journey in this lifetime than ever before, and we have exponentially awakened, grown, and expanded. It's exponential. Awakening can be linear at times, but it also can happen exponentially. This is part of when we tune into galactic energies, when you connect to your star seed energies, your star seed origins, when you open up to the cosmos and the bigger energies that are present and available to us, we step out of that 3D matrix. We're no longer participants in that ball game. We've switched into another ball game, which then changes your timeline, which changes your reality, which changes what you experience and what you connect to, which is why you have friendship changes and family changes and job changes and life changes. Because you've shifted away from those limitations of the 3D matrix, and you've expanded into even more. So there's many types of awakenings that we go through. And so this June and July is like these 2 months are pivotal for your ascension, for your awakening, for seeing energies in a new way. Because there's a lot of contentious energy in June with this Mars in Cancer opposing Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, and that's happening the middle of June. Let's call it the 11th to the 18th. And it's a time of potentially the war talk, provoking energies, things coming to a head, turning points. Essentially, there's a lot of fear. There's a fear of being exposed. There's fears of being revealed, of truths being revealed, of secrets being revealed, of what's been kept in lock and key in the 3D matrix. I'm just seeing like that window and the door is bust open and things can't be kept in a safe anymore because there's no longer the energies to support that safe, like the physical bank vault safe. And I'm seeing that those bank vault walls fall down. They fall down, and then everything that's inside the vault is exposed. And so we're moving through a time where people are very self-protective, aware of the consequences, which is the Capricorn energies, looking to stay in control, in charge. This is a prime time for false flag events, meaning staged events that distract us from a truth. These staged events are ones that keep us in fear and that keep us in a fight with each other. False flag events are where it's just a little too perfectly lined up. There's already, somebody that is going to receive the blame, right? I mean, okay, so false flag events, just be aware. This energy is push comes to shove, and it's the fighting, and it's really the deeper tension between the 3D matrix and the higher realms, the 5D energies, and that's the war. Even if it isn't, God forbid, a real war, it's an energetic war, and it's understanding that there's a lot of light here. There's a lot of light here. And it's you and it's me and it's the thousands of people who are awake and conscious who are this light. And many individuals in the 3D matrix are making choices around if they want to move into higher energies, higher frequencies, higher light, or if they want to stay in what is known, in their status, in their title, etc. So this is the real energetic push and pull, is between the advancement of humanity and the, it feels like a stagnation, but it's really a comfort zone. Everything is meant to evolve. Everything on this planet that survives evolves. Nature, animals, humanity, all evolves. And so we're looking at a time here, June into July. July is the eclipses, very big eclipses, when we're going to have some advancements that won't feel like it. Let me put it that way. It will feel like it's something else because things have to clear out. So, for example, something can be revealed and exposed, and it creates chaos and anger and reactions and fears, and then it clears out energetically, and you can see what was needed to rise up after the chaos clears out. Even chaos can be a tactic, an intentional tactic that keeps us distracted. Chaos can be an intentional tactic. And there's many things playing out here that are very strongly rigged, that are very strongly in control of, let's say. So it's not random, although it appears random. There's many agendas happening. There's many people with many different power plays and needs in different conversations with each other. So there's a lot of layers here, a multi-layer cake of agendas, of power dynamics. And we are here to really solidify and maintain a long-term light. And how I was viewing this was as an umbrella, where the umbrella obviously rises above. It's above the picnic table. It's above the chairs, right? So this umbrella is above the 3D matrix. but it has the pole that is cemented deep into the earth and goes down in, very solid, secure. And then it's this umbrella of light that matters. The umbrella energy. So umbrellas of light. And this is a visual that we can all collectively use to hold the light while honoring the space that's needed for things to play out under the umbrella. Things need to play out. It's part of our 3D reality. They take time. They take energy. Sometimes they take proof or evidence. All of this needs to play out. It doesn't mean you have to be playing out with it. You can be that umbrella of light. And this is also important for the energy of detachment, because we are not supposed to get too embroiled in people, places, and things. We are not meant to focus on the how or the when. We're not meant to focus on how something comes out or how something is revealed or who does what or how it happens or when it transpires. No, no, no. Because that lowers our energies. We are here to maintain the higher light of this transformation, of this evolution, of this renovation. And if you can detach from the who, how, and when, which is not always easy, I completely understand, but that is where your mastery is being required. You focus on the light of what is best for this planet, for humanity, for all of us collectively. And that includes keywords such as respect, integrity, the right use of power, justice, the understanding of we can get along, we can coexist peacefully. And there are things that need to come apart that don't match up with those energies. There are people who don't match up with those energies. There are structures and agreements and other things in place that don't match up with those energies. They need to come apart. They need to unravel. Focus on that umbrella energy. It will lift your energy up. The strong focus on Capricorn energy, especially Saturn and Capricorn traveling with the South Node, is fall from grace, is the wrong use of power, the wrong use of authority, the karmic consequences. You know, there's that saying, never meet your heroes, because when you meet your heroes, you'll be disappointed. Well, this is the energy of heroes to zeros, so to speak. The heroes that fall from grace. People we thought were this are actually this. People we thought did this actually had all these secrets. It's this kind of an energy. Saturn and Capricorn are the authorities, the authority figures, the decision makers, the power brokers, the ones in charge, you know, the CEOs and the politicians and the presidents of this and that and the other thing. You know, it's all these people who have had access to power. This is a time of that reckoning. And this is a time of the fall from grace, or the heroes to zeros. And that's also where the emotional charge can go up, and the shock, surprise, anger, reactions, that's all parts of it. That's the Cancer energy, the emotional experience. But we rise above that because the bigger picture, the bigger understanding for the way ahead is that all of this is right on time for what we want to experience and create that's at the next level, that has a stronger energy. So we have these turnovers throughout history, and I've mentioned that before in this podcast. And I've used the understanding of the different dynasties, like families and dynasties, right? And I think of the Medici family, the Romanovs, the Habsburgs, the Bourbons in France, the families that had a dynasty in a country, and they were powerful in rulerships, and the family would marry other families to strengthen their power in other countries and so on. And then there would be the turnover, right? Just go to a history book, and there's the turnover. And it could have been through, for example, the French Revolution, 1789, and then we had the rise of Napoleon. So throughout history, we've had these turnovers, and that's what we're living through. That's what we're going through right now, and it's very different with social media and technology and how we're connected and all of the technology around us. And again, the consciousness, the higher levels of consciousness that we have. So it's a very dynamic time. And it's a dynamic June and a dynamic July, and oh boy, 2020 and beyond is big. So I hope this gives you a good visual, my friend, to use your energy, your power, your choices to rise above, to maintain a long-term understanding and perspective, and to know that things have to play out in order for deep, permanent change to happen. So that's what we're moving through as we go into June. Collectively, of course, that's what we're moving through. But keep an eye on this Gemini New Moon on June 3rd. Very busy, and it could feel like life picks up the pace. You have a lot to do, a lot in your head, a lot to say and communicate. Stay mindful of your word choice, of how to improve communication with yourself and with others in your world. And we are living in exciting times. So I hope that you're able to make the most of the Venus in Taurus aspects to Saturn and Pluto. Those trines are quite lovely, and they can signal manifestation, connections, abundance, power, influence, a change. So stay open and willing to experience those energies in your world. Okay, I think that's all for today's show. And I want to thank you, as always, for joining me and for listening to this podcast. I've been doing this for 7 years now, and I appreciate all of you who have listened through the years, and also, of course, welcome those of you who are just connecting now. You can find out more about me, my teachings, my books, and my online classes below this podcast. And until we meet again, I wish you a beautiful week ahead, and have a great new moon in Gemini. Take good care.